Yo, what's going on? Is that guy? Wagwana Nation. Koi Fresco has been requested over and over and over and over and over again on this channel, and I'm finally getting to the Dread review today. So make sure you stay tuned, stay subscribed. This is the best in the Not Nation content. Koi Fresco over here on YouTube. If you've never heard of him, he's got quite the channel, spiritual educator. Koi Fresco here, 350,000 subscribers almost, and he's got a lot of videos here on spirituality. As of recently, Mr. Koi has started his dreadlock journey. A little bit of background information on his hair. He says in a recent video that he's been growing his hair for about 4 years, but hadn't started his dread journey until November of last year, technically leaving him at about almost 6 months into the locking game. So obviously this is the picture here of Koi with the long hair before the dreads. It's always interesting seeing Caucasians that grow freeform locks, because a lot of people don't think that their hair will lock on its own. They always think that they have to do something or manipulate it in some sort of way to make the locks happen. But Koi here is a great example that even white hair that's a little bit curly will freeform great. So here with 4 years of growth, this is probably about the time his locks started to form, and you can see that in his hair, how there's a bunch of clumps of hair that are together. This is the beginning stages of the locks. So with hair like this, you might get discouraged in trying to form locks on Caucasian hair, but basically all you're going to want to do is let it be. Don't comb it anymore, and you're going to start to see some locking start to happen. Now it might start to nest together, at which this point you would need to separate them as needed. So looking at this picture, we can really see how his locks are starting to form together. Just on the ends you can see some clumping happening down here, which is going to act as a good anchor for the rest of that lock to mature up. Definitely being in the salt water, in the sunshine, these are all great things to help with the advancement of your locks as well. So looking at a picture of his hair at full length without the locks, really quick, you can see the difference. And as of recently, this photo here really shows you how thin his locks are starting to form together at this point. Thinner locks, basically because that's how his hair is forming. He could start to combine them if he wanted to. The end result of his dreads are actually a lot thicker than what we see right here. More of a progress stage here. We see that his hair isn't looking as greasy as it once was in the earlier photos, allowing it now to lock up even better. The frizziness is starting to come into play, showing that the locks are in fact happening, because it's this frizzy hair that is going to start to bring in all the clumps together. He already has quite the length of locks. It's not necessary to start your locks with so much hair. It could actually make your dreads form slower with more hair, because there's more hair for it to lock together, obviously. So at this point, we can still kind of see the locks. It still just looks like a bunch of nested, matted hair at this point. No real defined locks just yet, but these things do take time, and you have to be patient with it. At this point here, we've seen a big jump. We see a big jump here happening on his locks, because at this point we actually see that he's had some work done to his hair at this point. That his hair was all locked and matted before. It was starting to lock up. It was really matted and dry and frizzy. It's a great state for it to be manipulated into dreads, which I feel has been done here. Some back combing and some twist and rip has occurred, but in his latest video he was saying that he did the manipulation once and he's just letting it grow freeform from here on out once again. I did hear on a side note that the selfie epidemic these days the selfie pandemonium is causing a super lice epidemic. Super lice now exists because I don't know why super lice exists, but apparently lice is just getting stronger and stronger these days and more resistant to the shampoos that you use to get rid of the lice. And they're saying the leading cause of this is selfies. Apparently this whole selfie era is causing kids in school to take pictures of themselves together, and when they put their heads together in situations like this, lice is being transferred back and forth from their hair and creating this super breed of lice. Just put it out there, especially with dreadheads. You don't want to be touching your dreads up to anybody else's dreads or hair just in case they have lice. Just saying. Now that we see that his hair was kind of worked on a little bit, you can really see the shape of some of these locks. Now, in his video, he mentions that the manipulation he did was a little bit of separation. He was separating the nest that was occurring on his locks. If you look at his locks here now, we can see that there is some shape starting to happen. And actually, we can tell by these wispy hairs on the end of his dreads that these have definitely been back combed, because this is how long his hair was at one point, but now that it's been pushed up, this is the remainder wisp of the tail that hasn't been back combed up. So definitely some work has been done here, and very minimal. Do note that he's still very frizzy. In this photo here, we can see the tame and the mane is starting to get tamed a bit more. He is in the shrinking stage as of right now, because we do see that his hair was longer when he was out of the locks. But we are definitely seeing wispy tips, no blunting happening, no blunting, straight on the wispy tips. A little bit of bleach here in his hair would have been from his hairstyle before the locks. Again, note the wispy, extremely long wispy tails compared to where the dreadlock ends. Just a sign of back combing. That is a sign of back comb. So another photo here. We see him embracing the frizziness. He's not worried about it. And actually, in one of his videos, he was commenting on how before he had dreads, he would wake up and have to worry about styling his hair and making sure it was right. And now with locks, it's basically get up and go, which is a great way and a great relief off your ego and having to make sure that your vanity is in check in the morning. You know, you don't need that. Shrinking stage still in effect here. It's still in effect. I like how his locks are actually thicker at this point. You can definitely tell that from before they were free-forming, they're being combined a bit more into some thicker dreads. He's probably got about 40 to 50 locks on his head as an entirety. And soaking in that salt water, it's always a good thing. His locks here really taking formation at the front, not so much on the sides and the back anymore, but we definitely still see that he's locked up at the front. Again here, locked up, chilling in the water, ain't no biggie. Seeing what kind of vlog camera he's on, looks like a Canon with the DSLR microphone. He's got the dread bun happening right now. Wispy tips. This was a throwback photo, of course. Real definition, real quality here on this picture. We can see some of the locks starting to kink over. This is just them forming themselves into shapes. This will happen. I like to see the wispy tails here still. Some clumps, some kinks. It's all part of the game. Koi's holding it down quite well. And of course, wearing the beanie, we can see where his length is at. So definitely a great candidate to watch the dreadlock journey unfold for the years to come. Shot of the back of the head real quick. Ain't no biggie. But for the most part, we see his hair acting like this. I like the kink that's going on in that front dread. It's pretty good characteristic trait right there. A more recent photo here. More recent photo, And last but not least, one of his current videos where we see the ultimate shrinking happening on his locks, where it's actually shorter than it ever was before. It just shows that he's really maturing with them. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Koi Fresco in the bag. Smash that like button down below, and make sure you guys check out the daily vlog channel, links in the description. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go post some pictures on Not Nation Instagram, hashtag that shit player. I'm gone. Good luck. Peace out, brothers and sisters. Adios.
The nation. Dreadlocks.